Morning, boys and girls. Happy Sabbath. So glad you could join me today. Where are all my friends? Ellie! Ellie!
Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Sabbath. Morning, George.
Morning, Ellie. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good. Say, Ellie, have you seen Daisy or Leo?
No, George. Let's call for them. Daisy!
Leo!
I'm coming! I heard a call. Hello! Good morning! Hi, George. Hi, Ellie. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good. How are you?
I'm so happy. I'm so good.
Good morning. Morning, George. Morning, Eddie. Morning, Daisy.
Morning, Leo.
Happy Sabbath.
Why do we all not look the same?
Jesus made us all different. But you know what? We're all different, but all special.
Yes, we're going to look at a boy that Jesus chose in the Bible, David. And he was only a boy. God has a special plan for each one of us.
David, a young boy whose heart pleased God.
We read in the Bible, the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. We find this in 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7.
I know David. I know something about David. Only a boy named David.
Let's sing it!
Yay! Yay! Let's sing! Yes, let's sing!
Only a boy named David, only a little sling. Only a boy named David, but he could pray and sing. Only a boy named David, only a rippling brook. Only a boy named David, but 5 little stones he took. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And 1 little stone went up in the air. And the giant came tumbling down. Only a boy named David, only a little sling. Only a boy named David, but he could pray and sing. Only a boy named David, only a rippling brook. Only a boy named David, but 5 little stones he took. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And 1 little stone went up in the air. And the giant came tumbling down.
David
The youngest boy. Eight brothers standing in a row. The youngest boy at the end of the row is David. David and his brothers lived on a farm near a small town, and David was a shepherd boy. He took care of his father's sheep. To David's town came Samuel the prophet. The prophet invited all the people to a special feast. David's brothers were going to the feast. David's father was going to the feast. But the brothers said to David, "You are too young to go. You stay home with the sheep." David took his harp under his arm. He tucked his sling in his belt. He opened the gate to the sheep pen. "Come, sheep! Come, lambs!" he called. The sheep followed David down the path. Black lamb and curly lamb walked one on each side of David. David led the sheep to a green grassy place. While the older sheep nibbled grass, Black lamb and curly lamb played jumping games and bunting games with the other lambs. David played tunes on his harp and kept close watch on the sheep. Black lamb began to wander away over the hill. David put down his harp and ran after him. He brought Black lamb back to the flock. Then David saw a weed that would make the sheep sick if they ate it. He pulled up the weed and threw it away. A jackal sneaked around a rock towards the sheep. David stamped his foot and the jackal ran away. David took his sling from his belt. It was a long, long sling that his father had made him from strong brown leather. He put a smooth stone in the sling. Now, what should he hit? The red rock? Can you see it? He would try. Round and round and round he swung the sling. Zing went the stone. Bing! It hit the rock. David put another stone in his sling. He would aim for that round black hole in the tree. Can you see it? Round and round and round he swung the sling. Zing went the stone, straight into the round black hole in the tree. Wow! Then David heard a noise. It wasn't hopping, thumping noise like a rabbit running through the grass. No, it wasn't a rabbit. It wasn't a pecking noise like a bird pecking at the tree. No, it wasn't a bird. It was a snuffing, gruffing noise like a big animal prowling around. It was, oh no, a bear, a fierce brown bear, and he was sneaking closer and closer and closer to where the lambs were playing. The bear crept behind the bush, ready to snatch Curly Lamb as he ran by. Quickly, David put a stone in his sling. He ran towards the bear. Round and round and round he swung the sling. Sing went the stone. It hit the fierce bear. The bear fell dead. David picked up frightened Curly Lamb and carried her in his arms.
Black Lamb kept close by his side. "Come, sheep! Come, lambs!" David called, and he led them to a place where they would be safe, while the older sheep nibbled the new green grass. Black Lamb and Curly Lamb again played jumping games with the other lambs, and David played tunes on his harp. Now, while David was watching the sheep, Samuel the prophet made ready the feast. David's father was at the feast. David's brothers were at the feast. Before they sat down to eat, the prophet said to David's father, "Have your boys walk before me, one by one. Today God will choose one of them for something very special." David's oldest brother walked before the prophet. "No, it is not this boy," said the prophet. The next oldest brother walked before the prophet. "No, it is not this boy," said the prophet. And then the next oldest brother walked before the prophet. The prophet shook his head. "No, it is not this boy." One by one, David's brothers walked before the prophet, but each time the prophet said, "No, it is not this boy." Then the prophet asked David's father, "Have you no other boys?" "Only the youngest boy. He's herding the sheep." "Send and get him," said the prophet. David came running, his harp under his arm, his sling in his belt. His cheeks were red. The wind blew his hair. "Walk before the prophet, David," said the father. David walked before the prophet. "This is the one," said the prophet. "This is the boy God has chosen." The prophet poured sweet-smelling oil on David's head to show that he was the chosen one. "Now we shall sit down to a feast," said the prophet. A place was made for David, and he sat with his father and brothers. Why had David been chosen? What would he do? No one knew. It was a secret. David's father didn't know. David's brothers didn't know. David didn't even know. Only the prophet and God knew that someday David would be king. And David would be a good king, as he was a shepherd boy. Who was David's father?
The answer is Jesse.
How many sons did Jesse, David's father, have?
The answer is 8. Count with me, friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Where did Samuel go to anoint David as king?
The answer is Bethlehem.
How many of Jesse's sons did Samuel reject as king before he picked David?
The answer is 7. Count with me, friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hooray!
Thanks, boys and girls, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the story of David. But be sure to join us next week. You know what's going to happen? David is going to fight a giant.
Ooh.
Be sure to tune in for that one. Bye!
Do you have a favorite song you want the puppets to sing, or a story in the Bible you want to hear? We want to hear from you. If you have any questions for our puppets, you can email your letter or picture you have drawn to kidsmissionwarriors@gmail.com. That's kidsmissionwarriors@gmail.com.